AM 1240 and 95.3 FM, WJON. This is our Get a Job segment, and my guest today is Gail Cruikshank, Talent Director, Greater St. Cloud Development Corporation. Gail, thanks for joining me again today.
Good morning, Jay.
And our focus today on Martin Luther King Jr. Day is your dream job. Have people found their dream job? And what does it take to find that dream job, Gail?
Well, it's just, it's been fun to kind of talk about this topic. I know you and I were chatting a little bit, and obviously perfect alignment for today. But really, now is a great time if you're thinking, I really need to find my dream job. Where's the best time, or when is it the best time? And really, it's now couldn't be a better time, because as you know, the job market is still, significantly disrupted from pandemic and post-pandemic and everything else. And then everybody's kind of had a change of perception of work, both on the job seeker and employee side, as well as the employer side as well. So, people are reflecting more on what is the meaning of my job? What am I doing? Do I feel good about what I'm doing? Really wanting to match it with their personal life preferences and expressing themselves and being able to use more of their entrepreneurial spirit and skills and talents and that sort of thing. So, it's really become, I think people have brought it more to the forefront as we, have come out on the backside of that nasty pandemic.
And there's a different answer for everybody when it comes to what is your dream job. What do you want? There's probably some that kind of fit into the category of, yeah, everybody wants to do that, or almost everybody does. But for each one of us, I think trying to ask ourselves, what would our dream job be? And maybe you put realistic expectations on that, huh? I mean, if your dream job is to be the quarterback for the Vikings, that's probably not attainable for most people.
Yep, absolutely. And I smile when you say that, because, you have to determine, what is needed for that job, and it even like you mentioned the Vikings position, or if it's, a certain type of IT job, or you want to be a pilot or whatever you want to be, what do you have to commit to, both personally, financially, timeline wise, to get to that goal? And is it worth it in the end, or can you do it right now? I think a lot of people get disappointed that says, I want to be this, but I can't be that today. Well, work your way towards that. So, I use example of, if you want to be a radio host, then you should shadow with you, Jay, or others, Jim, or anybody on your team, to be able to learn more, pick their brain, maybe mentor with them. So again, you don't have to be shooting for the top at the beginning, as long as you have a pathway that makes sense, that is attainable, then you're going to, again, increase your success.
So if you're looking to try to find what that might be, like let's say you're listening to this and you're like, I don't know. What is my dream job? What do you try to assess? Okay, so what are my strengths? What am I good at? What also do I have passion for? Because there's a lot of different considerations that might go into which direction you should be headed.
Well, absolutely, Jay, and that's exactly it. And you and I talk a lot about transferable skills, and we've talked a lot about really taking some time to reflect back as to, what am I most passionate about? What am I really good at? What have my different jobs over my career given me? And what do I want to do? What do I want to be remembered for? Where do I find the most passion and just, inside your heart that you're doing something that you love that's making a difference? And I think the one thing that I learned, that I was kind of doing a little research on this, is at the end of the day, it might not be your paying job that is your passion job. It might be what you're doing in a volunteer capacity, or, spending time with your grandchildren, or whatever that job might be. So don't always think about passion, dream job has to always be that one that brings home the check. It might be something else you're doing in your life that is then fulfilling your passion, because you have a flexible job that allows you to do that.
So like you said, it doesn't have to be that paying job. It could be something that is a volunteer job. It could be a part-time gig. Maybe something you're just doing on the side that may not make money right away, but maybe eventually will. There's a lot of different things out there, right? And if you're trying to figure that out, are there certain like your skills tests or anything like that you can help people with at GSDC about what are my strengths? What should I try to take advantage of? I think a lot of times we worry about our weaknesses, things we're not good at, but how about accentuating the things we are good at?
Well, absolutely. I think we're always our biggest challenger or our biggest enemy. We never want to say, hey, I'm really good at this, because then we think, what do people think about me with that kind of attitude? And you really do need to assess what you're really good at and what you're passionate about. And on the JobSpot website, there is a lot of information for potential job seekers that can help you go through those transferable skills. What are you really good at? What do you really love to do? What is important to you? Those type of things. So there's a lot of resources there for our job seekers. And I think another thing for you to consider is, we talked a little bit about why is that job your perfect, your passion job, your dream job? What elements of it are making you feel that way? So you can know how to kind of plan your progression and then the impact of what it will do for you and what it would do for others. Is that important to you? What does that look like? And like we've talked about, think beyond the paycheck. Allow yourself permission to really look to see what you love and try and get there. As I have said from day one in my recruiter days, you have to find a job that you are passionate about and that you love, because we all spend a lot of time at our job or doing our job. And so you have to find fulfillment, enjoyment, success in whatever way you look at it, to be able to, feel good about yourself. And it's not all about, okay, I make more money than my friend, or I, have this perk versus that perk. Everybody's perk desires are different. You might prefer working in where you are 100% remote, or little oversight or supervision, but you're challenged enough to feel great that you are contributing to the society and your employer. And then you're free to do maybe some of those other things we talked about. You just have to weigh out, where do you fall? Because like we've said, it's all different for everybody. What Jay wants, what Gail wants, what anybody wants is different in many regards.
So when you were doing some research, you found that the top dream jobs, according to Forbes, are pilot, writer, dancer, YouTuber, entrepreneur, actor, influencer, programmer, singer, and teacher. Interesting. Some of these are high paying. A lot of them aren't.
Right.
And some of these didn't exist 10, 20 years ago.
Right. And I think what's interesting with that list, I too was very surprised when I found that. But as I looked at all of these, I think all of them, other than maybe pilot, but it allows you to expand on your own entrepreneurial spirit, your own feelings, passions, those type of things. So it's really interesting, because that whole entrepreneurial world has really blossomed, particularly since the pandemic, because more and more people have an idea of something they can create, something that they're most passionate about. They can make a career out of it, and so a lot of these are very aligned to that, showing your personal expression through a job, which is, in their case, is their dream job.
If you're just starting out and trying to figure out, I mean, sometimes it's high school kids, it's even college kids, they're trying to figure out, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? And like we've discussed many times, that it doesn't have to be for the rest of your life. It could be what you maybe try to do initially, but you might see a different path. And some of the skills that you attain through that first job could help you for the next job, even if it's a different career path, right?
Absolutely. And like I mentioned at the beginning, but to elaborate on that, create a step-by-step process. And again, look at the people that are doing the job you want to do, or what is your dream job, and how can I learn from them, watch them, observe them, watch their work, whatever it might look like, because that helps you get a real accurate assessment of what that job really is. Because as we've talked in previous shows on different topics, a lot of times people have a misperception of what a job really is until they get in it. And that's why I always stress job shadow, mentorship, just using a network, use your network to just learn from people that are doing what you think you want to do, just to confirm that before you go down a path that then, maybe causes some unhappiness or misfortune that you didn't plan on.
How about internships? Is that something that you would suggest would be a good thing?
Absolutely. Again, that is that same avenue about learning from others, but doing it. And again, you can read it in a book and you can, aspire to what you see on the internet and all of that. But until you get to physically be in that job in whatever capacity is available, you really don't know what it looks like and what it's going to really feel like and what you're going to feel like as you are, again, executing that job. Is that giving you the personal satisfaction that you are looking for? Or is it maybe a little twist on something else? And, the one thing I want to stress for our employers that are listening is I don't want employers to get alarmed and it's like, oh my gosh, everybody wants to leave because they don't have their dream job here. I think this is the perfect opportunity for those employers to really listen to their employees, and find out what is the most passionate thing to them. How can you give them some of those dream jobs within their responsibilities within your organization? It might be letting them have a flexible schedule where you can, so they can volunteer. It might be, again, that remote work on a few days or all days, depending on what the structure is. But employers just need to be aware of that. And like we've talked before, they have to have a career path aligned for each of their employees, no matter what it looks like. But each individual employee needs a path. They need to know where they're going. And then that is going to, again, increase retention and then keep your employees happy and feeling like they are doing their dream job.
I think you really hit on something important there, is that your dream job may not seem like it's your dream job until you realize, do you like who you work for? Do you like the environment that you're in? Are you getting paid the amount of money that's going to allow you to live the lifestyle you want to live? So maybe that is your dream job, even if that wasn't something that you thought you were walking into when you took that position.
Well, absolutely. And, I think our future is incredibly bright as you reimagine what you do like and what you don't like and what you want to do. And you have to take some time to remind yourself of all the things you have succeeded at, all the skills you have, what you've accomplished in life, and then just look to how can I re-energize myself as we start the new year. And I would say the first step for any current employee is to sit down with your immediate supervisor and say, hey, I need a little bit more. This is what I love. Can I add something? These are a few ideas I have. Or, are you okay if I volunteer at XYZ location twice a week? Or, again, it's look at it as a positive. Don't just say, well, I'm not happy at my employer today, so I'm going to look for a new job. Maybe that is the case, but many times that employer doesn't even know what you might be seeking. And so that's where that two-way communication is so critical, to be able to, again, retain your employees, but then also allow all of us as employees to feel satisfied in confirming that we're in our dream job.
Gail, if people do want to find out more about the job openings that are available, whether you're someone that's seeking a job or maybe an employer looking for resources, what do you suggest? What websites can they go to?
Well, for jobs themselves and really about all of the information in the community, either if you live here or aspire to move here, stcloudshines.com will give you all of that information. And like I mentioned, within St. Cloud Shines is JobSpot, which will highlight all the jobs available in our 3-county region of Benton, Stearns, and Sherburne. And then within JobSpot as well, there's lots of those resources for people if they're thinking they want to be a job seeker and explore something different, or just even if they want to take some time to reflect on their own job to date in their career, and again, highlighting and just recognizing what they are successful at, and what they have achieved through their career. And then for our employers, if there are questions, if there's a number of resources on our GSDC website, which is simply greaterstcloud.com. So certainly encourage anyone to use those resources. They're all free to use. And certainly reach out to me at any time if I can be of assistance to you. And my contact information is on our GSDC website.
Excellent. Gail, thanks for your time as always. Appreciate it. And we'll talk to you again next month.
All right. Thanks so much, Jay. Have a great day.
You too. That's Gail Cruikshank, Talent Director, Greater St. Cloud Development Corporation. It's been our Get a Job segment. Coming up next on WJON, World and National News from ABC.